Okay, good. Then let's start. Welcome all to my short talk, the last one today before the code wrap up. I think. Glad that you find it in that room. Yeah, what I will talk about today. I will talk about private AI and how you can use open source LLMs in Odoo or within Odoo. And I will start maybe for those who don't know me yet. We are already some years in the OCA and also member in the OCA. But myself, I was last year in the OCA, but before that was a long time I was not visiting the OCA day, so maybe you don't know me. My name is Christopher Lorenz, just call me Chris. Basically, my role within ITIS is the dev leading, so the development of the product and also the running of the data centers. We have multiple data centers in Germany located where we run, I think the number is on there, 1,102 actual physical servers, so it's quite a big data centers. And during my studies, I already was interested in that thing of AI and said, okay, what is the real business perspective? What's the real possibility there? And last year, we started on that topic that we tried to get that AI features in Odoo that helps you in the daily process. We know that Odoo will announce something similar to that, but there will be some different things, so that's what I want to talk about today. First, I will give you a short look on the current AI and the market itself, which is there, and how it's developing in the last years. And then I'm going to talk, of course, about data, because all AI needs some sort of data to start with, and from where that data should come and how we can deal about it, that it's safe and that we are not sending the data out to any third party which can reuse that data. I will also show you how we integrate it, and I will also show you the features which we have there. And I will tell you at the end of the day some interesting facts also about the modules and how you can access them. First thing, why is there a comparison, or why is there anyways an idea for a private AI? Because the limitations on the one hand is clear. Private AI only has a specific trained knowledge, so we cannot use the actual data, but there's methods to use the actual data also in private AI. But the main, or for us, the main important thing is that we have the data retention thing and also the compliance thing. Because the problem with that is, a lot of customers ask us, yeah, okay, let's do like an automated bot on the website, or how can my employees get some knowledge, how can I do basic training, all that things, and their AI can help. But the problem is if you send out that company data, they are in the wild and they are basically useful to everybody you shared it with that companies who use that data. And of course, also in Germany, at least we have, and I think that's counting for the full world, we have that thing with the compliance. So always the customer says, okay, how can I ensure that that data stays there where I put it and doesn't go out to any third party? And if it's in the US, then it's maybe getting a problem again. So that's the main thing why we say, okay, private AI is something interesting. The downside, of course, of private AI, I just said it, is that you are bound to a specific state of data. And this we wanted to overcome, that we use that company's own data for that training and also for their use in their system. A general short overview, like I said, over the market. So basically that AI word is a buzzword, I know that, and everybody seems to talk about AI. But if you look at the graphs, basically we see that not really too much companies really did implementations which they really use. Often they are talking, they have plans, they want to do something with that, but they didn't achieve yet something. So we have that 12% of AI achievers and that 12% of AI builders who really are using it in business solutions. And on the other hand, the key, like I said, is that data, that we get that data. And interestingly, that data which is missing also to the big companies where they're very interested in, like Google, like OpenAI, and so on, is that data which they don't have. Of course, searching the web, the data which is publicly available on the web is something very easy to get for all of us. But something which is closed and specific to some companies to have their specific knowledge. That's very interesting. And for that, they invest a huge amount of money. And therefore, I found one interesting thing, which I was also referring to in my studies. It was a prediction from McKinsey. They said in the next decade, that big data market, which is used also within AI, goes from 42 billion US dollars per year to 102 billions per year in the next decade. That was in 2018. Today, we are a little bit over that value. So you see that improvement and that growth of that market was quite fast. And still, a lot of customers tell me at least, but yeah, it's all nice that this AI hype is there, but what's the real use case you are doing at the end of the day with it? And that's where it gets interesting, because of course, OpenAI with ChatGPT and all that AIs which are out there can provide help you solve different tasks. But for most of them, they are not integrated, and that's their main problem. And we also saw that a lot of companies which are working in that sector basically also see that it's very important to get that data. So here we see different opinions from different peoples, which say basically, the missing piece is that data which we don't have. And most likely we will not get them. And we try to make it that easy that people put their data in there, and then they are there, and then we can finally use them. So they even want to pay a huge amount of money for that, for this. But then the problem is how, on the other hand, who you serve that data to. So how you decide who you want to serve that data to at the end of the day. Looking in Odoo, we know that there is Odoo has an integrated chatbot function, an AI thing, and we know that in Odoo 19, at least in the enterprise and so on, there will come a lot of new features in the AI section. But we also know they are basically bound to models which we don't have real control about it. The problem with that is you send data in there, and you give all that information you put in that prompt or whatever it is. You put in that data, that business data, and they can use it for analysis. That maybe doesn't go that much for Odoo, but also for of course the big companies who are running that AIs in the background of the thing. The problem or the real issue with that private AI thing is basically this. No, not this. Okay, I will come to that. What we basically did, I will show you a demo also afterwards, is integrating a private AI. That private AI is basically running on Ollama. That should be something you maybe have heard about, that project. That's just a wrapper where you can run different models in there. And these models, on the other hand, can be then used to do multiple things. Can analyze documents, can help you on new sales texts, can help you on your websites with your automated chatbots, all things like that. But the problem for this is this. You need an investment which is quite high. You need that investment in that very fast hardware market. And the problem with that is that GPU servers and that GPUs, they are, after 1 year, you can basically throw them away. And with that, you have, of course, as a normal mid-sized company, you have that problem. Okay, from whom you're going now to buy that things, from whom you are using, which service you're using, where you just pay a fee because you don't want to invest always in that machines. Every year, new investment in that machines takes a lot of money, and it's also not suitable at the end of the day. We also thought like this in the beginning, and then we said, okay, we will do that investment. That was quite unexpected decision, honestly, because as we run data centers, yes, of course, we have that knowledge. We can build up that systems. We can utilize them. But still, that usage of that server farms for AI was quite huge, and we also know the demand of power and all that things is quite high. And also for a middle-sized company like us, it was quite a hard achievement to reach that. But that's a different story, basically. I don't want to tell you about that story today, because the main factor on this is buying that things and also running that things in terms of power consumption, because that bill is really it's really a big one, as the energy prices, especially here in the European areas, is quite high. And as we run the data centers in Germany, both of them, they are basically, they are cost expensive. But that's not the real thing I want to talk about. I want to talk about the integration we did. And therefore, I will switch over to I need to exit that presentation, I think, for that. To our, It is Easy Business. Who doesn't know about it? It's basically a fork of Odoo Community. It's not a fork. It's using Odoo Community at its base, and like a lot of people of you, we are doing enhancements for Odoo's, which is now, I think, that product we have since now 8 years, and that's why it's looking a little bit different. But it's based on Odoo cores, and also the OCA features is heavily used in that systems. And the interesting thing is that we are not trying, like in Odoo Enterprise, they're always trying to integrate everything in that one system. Having a document management system within Odoo. Okay, that's a good idea, but the problem is, can you really develop something which has other products which have developed over 10, 20, 50, no, not 50, but over a long time over a long time, can you really integrate that within 1 year of development? And the answer to this is, in my opinion, and also from what I've heard from other people, no, you can't. You can't integrate everything in one system and believe it's the best solution. So the thing which we make different basically is we come up with in our portfolio with a couple of products. So it's not only It is Easy Business based on Odoo Community, it's also It is Easy Docs that's based on Alfresco. Maybe you have heard about Alfresco as a document management system. It's also quite a old project already, quite long in the market already as open source DMS solution. And that helps us basically also to integrate that AI. Why? Because like I said, based on Olama, open source solution as well. Basically, you can choose any model you want to run in that system. So I can show you. Currently on this system, I have a quite small model. That's because I'm connected to that AI service currently using VPN. And there I want to have at least a little bit better speed. So it's a small model, but basically you can choose your model. You can use your pre-trained own models. In this case, I use a Llama 3.2 model. You can use whatever you want. So it's not bound to any specific model, basically. But we are all integrating this. I'm now showing you the chatbot as a short function. There's more areas where you can use it. Like I said, in the support area, in the sales, and so on. But I want to show you basically how it works. So the idea about that is that we not only have a normal model, normal AI. Okay, that's something which you can set up in 10, 15 minutes. Getting that server running, putting a module which integrates that into Odoo is not a too big achievement. But what's get interesting is when we are combining that data which we have in Odoo or which we have in It is Easy Docs Alfresco. And that's exactly what we did. To those who know, maybe RAG is something you know. RAG is basically a technology for AI to utilize own documents, own data, and put that inside. And with that, you can give the AI a very specific context to answer with. That means the AI starts to know, okay, what is he talking about in a specific context? So let me show you an example. I can ask the AI a very specific question now, and in my use case, you can imagine I'm a inverter manufacturer for photovoltaic systems, okay? So I'm building that boxes which convert power from DC to AC somehow and puts it into our grids. And I can ask now the AI about a very specific question. What does error code F48 means on our inverter K30? Yeah, that's all demonstration data. And I'm now just asking us a normal Llama model, which will basically give me an answer which doesn't help me at all. Because he doesn't know anything about inverter K30, or he doesn't know anything about the error code F48. But if I a manufacturer in that area, for example, and I want to support my customers using chatbot, or even my support team, then I can use that integration. So a lot of data which is generated is, I'm now switching over to the DMS, is basically stuck in some documents. Documents in some data and something, and here I have an article from some engineer who wrote something about error codes on that inverter model. What I can do now is feed that data into the AI, so that the AI also knows about that article and about that specific context. And for now I can just tell the AI, okay, let's use also the wiki, not only our basic knowledge, which is basically nonsense, and ask the exact same question again to our AI. What's now changed is the AI knows about that documents which are in the DMS and which are in Odoo, and now we can get, hopefully, a better and more specific answer. A little bit sorry for the speed, that's maybe up to the network connection. Interestingly, he's answering in German to me now, because I think he knows that I'm a German guy, but you see the document was English, so it was an English document, and even this language thinks it doesn't matter anything for him. What he basically tells us, okay, yeah, check your voltages. If your voltage below 500 volts doesn't work correctly, if there's 0 volts, you have a problem with your panels, and all that things. It's quite a extensive answer, and also which steps you should follow to find out that error. So you now get an answer which really helps you. Depending, doesn't matter if you're a customer, then you would maybe use some context which is more customer driven, or if you use, like in this case, a technician answer which should be more in depth. And it all is now generated from that one document. I have no other data in there, it's just that document in here. The nice thing now about AI is, of course, for example, if I have a question like, in this case here, F49, what does it mean? We have only a description of 2 lines. But what's basically written in there is, it's the same like F48, the only thing is the voltage is too high, but the steps are the same. So if I'm using now that same question and ask about F49, I would get an answer about F49 and exactly the debug steps, only that anybody has written it yet. Okay, so, and like I said, this function, this was now the normal chatbot function, is used on many areas in the system. I can use it. So I get that very specific company knowledge which I have here, which also most of other people will maybe not care about, or which is also content which I don't want to share, because of course now that Model K30 inverter which I sell out is something which I can also make publicly. That data is okay if it's available publicly, but think about construction details or something like this which you don't want to send out in a company which deals with construction or other things. And this also you can utilize in that AI, and basically then it's running on your own systems and not within normal integration of some other company. Okay, that was not the right one. Yeah, what we will do and what is the points we want to do now with that. First of all, of course, we thought something quite unique to ETCC Business, but we have made the decision to put also that module and the modules into the OCA AI repository. That's something where we will do that's one of the next steps we will do, so you can use it. We can also support you on the resources. If you have own AI resources, fine, you can use them. You can just utilize them. If you don't, we are happy also to support you on that, so that you can have real private AI service within a data center. You can even come visit us if you want, and can use that really as a private AI for your customers and for your clients who matter. Yeah, also if you need any, because that training, what I showed you, is not a real training. That was just RAG, so I don't need to RAG. That was exactly what I showed you. I have documents, and the AI breaks that documents down into separate points and then gives you an output on that. And therefore you need to do, depending on your integration, a little bit of work to see, okay, how is that document splitting up, how I can split them up, how I can split up data. Doesn't only affect documents. But there, of course, we can also support you.
Sorry,
yeah?
what does RAG stand for?
Good point. I will tell you after the talk, because I have just forgot it. I was just in the talk, was thinking about it, and I know it, of course. But I will tell you. Yeah, the last thing, like I said, if you want to see all the other products, that's just one side note I want to make. You can also visit it tomorrow on the experience. Of course, we are there. If you're also interested in how we did it with docs, because what is clear, if you use our module, that module works with a standard AI model. But if you want to integrate your own documents from wherever they come, you need to make an integration. If you want to have a finished integration, just let's talk about E2C docs also. For us, what is now the key points to basically think about? We all know about that AI hype, and we know, okay, there is limitations in that, because what for sure is every company now runs after that thing AI and says, okay, that's something future-orientated thing, and the potential is there. There is potential using it in different areas. Automate things, automate actions within an ERP, make less mistakes, prepare already customer answers in before it, so that not always you as a human need to write it. There's a lot of potential in there, but we need a critical reflection on that, because the question is, who can I trust in my data? So whom I'm giving my data to generate that answers. Every time you make a prompt, it can basically be reused as retraining for our AI. If that's very specific knowledge, okay, that's very interesting. And that's where that private AI comes into. But on the other hand, we also need to say that we are basically having limits. So the AI is and stays something which deals with probability. And the probability can also be wrong. So also the question about what judgments you can do, or what judgments the AI should do for you and do some automatic action, and when you should be, as a human, taking the decision. And the last thing for all of us and for all of our clients also to ask themselves how we deal basically with the big data which we have in our companies, and of course which we also generate within our ERP systems. And can we use it somehow? Can we use it to optimize things like production? Yes, of course you can use it. But the question is who you share it with. And that's the takeaway I want to give you today. Take care about your data, who you share it with, and especially when it comes to AI, that you think about how to share that data and not just hand it over to that big techies, which then can use it for their own business but doesn't help you or your customer at the end of the day. Okay, that's it. Then we are with the Q&A. Yeah, I will come over to you as we need the microphone with you. So I need to run now a little bit.
Hey there, thank you. Jan, my name. Company-specific data, can it only be the wiki and files, or could it also be Odoo database data?
Can also be Odoo database data, and that's of course the interesting thing then in production or any other thing to optimize it based on that data.
So you can ask customer-related questions?
Yes.
You can ask customer-related questions?
Exactly, yes. Any other questions? It goes more back. I come from the back side, sorry.
Thank you. So yes, thank you for the presentation. And I was wondering about the context. Mm-hmm. Is there a limit on the number of tokens that you can send to the context?
Yes, that's a very technical question. Maybe I will explain a little bit about what you just asked for all to understand. Because what you was talking with the tokens is basically what I said before with the split of the documents. The AI and is of course, like we all know, a computer program, so we need to split up our data which we have in specific chunks. And the problem with that is what chunk you can use to get an answer. And yes, there is of course a limitation. Within that wiki, it's quite easy to junk because you have a text which you can junk very good, and then also create tokens very easily. So they're not very limited. Within other data, like within production data, there you need to figure out the correct chunk size for your correct application for the specific customer. Yes.
Okay, but for example, for text documents, there's
Yes.
no limits.
There's no limit.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions? Now don't come in the back again. In the front we have.
Yeah. What's the motivation to use Oyama instead of other products? I think about LLM Studio or even an MCP server to be more versatile.
Yeah.
feature.
Yeah, maybe you can repeat your question
Oh.
fully because I think I didn't hear you.
What the motivation
Yeah.
about the use of Oyama
Mhm.
instead of other products like LLM Studio or even an MCP server
Yeah.
that could be more versatile in time?
That's a again, okay. Yeah.
Just keep the mic.
Yeah.
The question is regarding the motivation to use Oyama instead of another solution like LLM Studio or MCP server.
So yeah, did you copy, or should I repeat it?
Otherwise,
Otherwise, I will use that. Yeah. Now the question was basically why we use Olama instead of other solutions, and what our motivation for this was. Yeah, that's quite interesting questions. Interesting question. Basically, it was most likely because we liked the approach, how easy it was for other people to start with. That was the main reason why we used it. We also use different platforms, like platforms to that, for different use cases, but that was the main reason, that we wanted to have a solution which is quite like a one-click solution for anybody in the community to set it up, and not like having to read too much documentation, but just like start with. That was the real intention for that. Any other questions? Yeah.
Thanks for the presentation. It's more about the costs, like what would be a starting price to have that in our Odoo, and what does it depend on? Is it about data, the quantity of data, or those stuff?
Okay, I will also repeat that question in the front. So the question was now about the costs to get started with, and also about the question if there's a quantity thing of data which is important to know about that for that sizing. Basically, that module, like I said, will be free. It will be in the OCA. It will be under normal open source licenses. So that module basically doesn't cost you anything. The thing which will cost you something, yeah, of course, is that AI server. There you have two ways to go. You can either go the way that you say, I have a system myself, AI server myself, which I'm hosting somewhere. Can also be within another data center. Or you go that approach with us. And there, yes, of course, there's a sizing based on the number of documents you're putting into. Because as bigger that thing gets, of course, as more power you need to calculate it. So that's the basic answer to that. The more specific answer you will find on our website, because I don't know all prices in my head, sorry. But the goal should be that you are able really to set up that system yourself and just come up with the AI systems with us if you need it. Yeah. Any further questions? Okay, then thank you.